Welcome to the Technology of the Week video about electronic markets and auctions in the advertising industry. Traditionally, the media for this industry were TV, print, radio and billboards. The first official paid television advertisement was broadcast in the US on July 1st in 1941 for a total cost of $9. The traditional advertising market included four players: the company that wanted to advertise, the advertising agency, the advertising company, and the targeted consumers. Around the year 1993, Hotwire sold ad spaces in large quantities and the term banner advertising was coined. In 1995, Yahoo published the first keyword-based advertisement, transforming itself from just being a web directory to a commercial business. As mentioned before, Google started selling ads on its own site in 2000. They started by selling lines of text above the search results for a fixed price. However, this didn't quite work out, and they switched to an auction-based pricing model. When a user searches something online, his query is matched against keywords, and the right ads for it are determined. For this, a sealed bid second price auction, also called a Vickrey auction, is run. In this, the winner pays only the second highest price plus a minimal addition. For instance, when there are two advertisers with a willingness to pay of 50 and 60 cents, the higher bidder wins but pays only 51 cents. Why is a Vickrey auction a good thing? Simply put, it makes advertisers state their true maximum willingness to pay. Stating more is bad because they might have to pay more, and stating less is bad as they might lose the auction. So there is no incentive to state anything else than the true willingness to pay. The fact that everybody states their true willingness to pay comes close to a personalized price, as for each advertiser and advertisement a different price will be asked. The auction extracts a high profit and still leaves a good feeling. The stated maximum willingness to pay anchors a reference point, and the final, lower price paid frames it again. There is a slight twist, however, to avoid that ads can be simply bought by offering a lot of money. Not the actual price, but the effective price is used. It takes into consideration the format and quality of the ad and website and the estimated click-through rate. In the end, everybody is happy. Advertisers are happy because they pay less than what they were willing to pay at most. Users are happy because they only are represented with the relevant and high-quality ads. And Google is happy because only the most valuable ads are shown and profit is maximized in this way. Google AdWords would now allow anybody with a credit card and an internet connection to create their own advertisement. Contrary to the traditional advertising process, creating ads on Google AdWords is inexpensive and requires only a limited skill set. There is no account manager from Google or other middlemen such as ad agencies involved in this process. This self-serving and self-creation of advertising content resulted in a diverse range of advertisements which target many small and very specific groups only. This is what we call the long tail. The head of the tail would be to display a generic message to a loosely defined target group, as it is done in the traditional ad industry. So instead of transferring the old business model of advertising to the online world and trying to compete with traditional big agencies, Google leveraged the long tail by making online advertisements accessible to everyone. As a result, profits skyrocketed. Let's take a closer look at how Google AdWords disrupted the industry. The first crucial observation is that people spend more time online because there is more relevant content from streaming services and user-generated content. Consequently, companies allocate more resources to online advertisements. Google used new technical possibilities as a leverage to capitalize on this trend. First, by enabling advertising companies to track consumers' behavior online and thus accurately measure the effects of their ad. Second, by having advertisers only pay per impression or click for the ad and thus ensuring a higher return on investment. With prices for Google online ads starting as little as 1 cent, advertising became available for everyone. This low price strategy allowed any company in the world to target any customer. Traditionally, ads were created in hierarchical settings due to high coordination and production costs. Now, in a market setting, creating an advertisement is a simple process. But because ads are targeted to a very specific consumer group, the asset specificity of an individual advertisement increases. However, due to the use of digital technologies, the importance of both the complexity of product description and asset specificity decreases. The impact on these factors allow Google to profit from the electronic brokerage effect. First, Google increases the number of alternative recipients that should be considered for an advertisement. Second, Google uses sophisticated technology to decide who exactly sees the ad. This increases the selection quality. And third, At the same time, Google also decreases the costs of the entire advertisement placement selection process. Thus, Google acts as a broker that matches the right ad with the right consumer and reduces the need for the company to contact many alternative ad agencies individually. This shortens the value chain and lowers transaction and coordination costs. The process becomes quicker, more convenient, and inexpensive, which puts the established players under immense pressure. Usually, electronic markets are expected to evolve from biased to unbiased and eventually to personalized markets. Google delivers highly personalized advertisements to individual customers, which indicates a personalized market stage. However, Google was recently found guilty of placing ads biased towards its own profit. This contradicts the findings in academic research that markets evolve linearly from one stage to the next. This gives rise to the question of which type of ad market we are heading towards in the future.
This has been some interesting news. How will the advertisement industry develop in the future? 3 major trends can be identified. Firstly, the effect of technological developments. Secondly, the effect of external influences. And lastly, the effect of regulatory developments. With the development of new technologies like augmented reality, eye tracking and voice search, companies can get access to more data in more ways than before, enabling them to create more personalized ads. Access to data will be key to beat the competition. Consequently, market players will either create new data sources themselves and/or acquire emerging companies. We can, however, expect that the duopoly between Facebook and Google stays, because both companies put an equivalent amount of effort into acquiring new data sources. The other major trend concerns external influences. Companies like Baidu, Alibaba, and Flipkart are major players in Asia, but have not entered the European or US advertising market. For an entry to succeed, it is necessary to overcome the entry barrier, namely, the lack of user data between already established firms and new firms. Therefore, arriving companies must find new data sources or attract new users. A successful entry would significantly decrease the market share and power of the current players. The last major trend is about privacy regulations. The General Data Protection Regulation requires Internet users to explicitly give their consent on the use and processing of their personal data. Small players will be unable to convince users to give this approval, while larger players can coerce users to do so because of their deep integration in users' life. As a result, the relationship between the user and big companies such as Google becomes relatively stronger. This creates entry barriers to new players. The already big players will gain power and competition, while new entrants will diminish. Although AdWords has disrupted the advertising industry, upcoming technological developments may impact the industry even more.